maybe he doesn't want to travel to me, it's got to be money. It's got to be money, or B, he's sicker than than he's keeping on. It's not just
Well,
food poisoning.
you peel back something. Let's jump on it for just a quick moment. You know, when Roczen first went over to that series, it was relatively easy for him to be able to sweep that series and take the championship bonus. I don't know, Johnny, you're good on statistics. I don't know, how much did he make winning WSX overall the last 2-3 years? I'm going to guess $1 million. He was probably guaranteed.
Well, I know he was contracted the first year for 500,000 just to show up, and then the next year, I believe it was a 7-figure deal to get paid. And this year, if knowing Roczen, he probably negotiated himself more money than he ever has. So something either fell through, or that's the only reason why.
Let me back the train up. You think Roczen, let's say year number 3, 500, then $1 million. You think this year he's able to negotiate a bigger figure, knowing that Webb, J. Coop, those guys are coming over as well? I don't think he was able to ask for more. I think he was lucky that he still got offered anything.
And maybe that's the discrepancy, Coach. Maybe
that's why I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering.
Saying,
but
hey,
why would he agree to even do the first round if the dollar amount for the whole series was not already pre-approved or pre-agreed upon, rather?
Well, that's where there's a stipulation, because truthfully, like, if there's injury clauses in a lot of the contracts we see here in America. So if he doesn't contractually fulfill his obligation of all 5 rounds?
I think 5.
Then he doesn't get paid. So there's had to been some sort of a loophole where that's the only reason why I think we're seeing him not pull out completely. Is he has to contractually finish to get paid. He's doing bare minimum to get paid, and then he's out, is where I think this is going.
And when we say paid, guaranteed appearance money, show up money.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I don't think it has anything to do with championship or winning bonuses, because from what I have heard, allegedly everything goes back to those teams, and almost a little bit like SMX, where the finish goes to the team and then they can decide how the fuck they do it. But truthfully, there's it's all just kind of salaries from the teams paying the riders, and then the series is paying the teams to show up there, and the team gets fined if they don't have it. And I think this is where, when we were originally talking, where it was like, just leave Jason Anderson to run the flag for Pipes Motorsport Group. Well, that's a problem, because if one rider checks out, they're contractually obligated with the series to have 2 bikes there. So they have to have somebody. That's where you have Mathis saying that Colt Nichols is probably going to be the fill-in guy. They have to have somebody there, or they lose money.
And give props to Dustin Pipes and the group over there, right? They went 1-5 at the opening round with a new rider in Jason Anderson. So we tend to forget how much R&D, how much money's been spent getting those bikes over there. Yes, I know it's all part of the WSX. They give them a stipend for travel and all that, but we can't lose sight of the fact that Dustin, he's, as much as we mock the Suzuki, right? Literally, since he got Roczen on that team, we mock Kickstart Kenny. And look at 3 years, 5 years. How many years has Kenny been on HEP Suzuki?
God, at least 4.
So think about that. We all kind of scoffed at Kenny going there, and now they've got Anderson with them. Anderson's no slouch.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
That's a Twisted T bike.
No, but just how cool it is, because Suzuki was all but disappeared. After RCH folded up, Suzuki was like, if you were on a Suzuki, it was kind of a joke. And then Dustin has clawed his way back to.
And Coach, I was making the joke because they're all saying that he had food poisoning, and then they show him kickstarting his bike, and I'm going, well, if he needed to save energy, they should have put a battery and an electric start on that thing.
Well, another joke along that same thread of thought was his agent Astafin being on Jace's Gypsy Tales show, talking about the idea that he can be on certain juice because it's a non-sanctioned event when the WSX first got started, which was kind of an interesting comment. And a lot of conversations was that's why Kenny was able to kind of finish the season this year, because they're not drug testing. at the outdoor nationals. So the idea,
So,
and even Feld is not testing either.
because during that deal, that was 4 years ago or so, I had some of the teams reach out to me because
About
allegedly
what?
Kenny, well, because allegedly Kenny was refusing to follow through
Take a
with
drug
anything
test.
because it was contractually he didn't have to, so there was a big fight, and then guys were trying to somewhat get Kenny disqualified and whatnot. So I mean, you bring up a conspiracy theory of maybe that's why he's getting out, because if he finishes it, then you have to get tested. But at the same time, I think it's the previous. I think it's more of just the money, and then he's out because maybe he's sicker than we think he is, and he
Y-
wants to be ready for A1
But
because that's
he's
2 months out.
been sick for 5 years. He's had this quote unquote ailment since he left RCH.
I know, but coach, you're over here about food, sleep, not he's got to build his battery up. So maybe he's just trying to get as healthy as he can to for A1.
But see, that's what's so interesting is why would he race the outdoor nationals? If you've
Well,
already got an athlete who's struggling with energy, why would you go ahead and put him through outdoor nationals?
well, he didn't race the entire outdoor nationals. He raced enough so that he could qualify for the money race, SMX.
And you just validated my entire point.
So what's he doing
He's
at World
doing,
Supercross?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound snippy. He just is doing the bare minimum outside of Supercross to keep making money, right? He didn't do all of the outdoors, and now he's not doing all of WSX for what? To be able to go back and do Supercross. And remember when McGrath signed the first Supercross only and everybody raised holy hell?
Yeah.
And my point is, and I'm not trying to be nebulous here. The point is there's a reason why McGrath went to a Supercross only contract. There's a reason why these guys are leaning towards only a Supercross contract. The promoters don't understand this. I don't know why they can't seem to get it through their heads. You are not going to be able to force these dudes long term to keep up the pace that you're asking them to do. What was it? 30? I had the number. I think it was what, 34 races they did total?
It's 33
33,
with
right?
the SMX.
You can do that when you're trying to force a privateer or some of those second tier riders. But when you've got the clout of some of these top guys,
You get shitty racing at the end, coach, is what you do.